Have you been practicing elsewhere combat?" "It's kind of difficult to find anyone to practice with," I said. "About the only two I can ask, apart from you, are Luna and Anne. Luna can handle elsewhere, but she doesn't like it, and I know it's asking a lot from her to get her to keep going back there. And Anne, well, she's got her own reasons to avoid the place." "And you've done everything you can to persuade them otherwise?" Arachne said. "You've pressed on them the urgency of the situation, or if that doesn't convince them, you've searched for other teachers?" I shifted uncomfortably. "No." "When I first met you, you'd spent days at a time mastering some new application of your magic," Arachne said, "or on researching a new magical item. The Alex I knew back then would have worked day and night to learn everything there was to know about the Dreamstone." I know, I said. "But back then I was pretty much a hermit. About the only people I'd spend time with were you and Starbreeze, and Helicaon, I guess, but eventually I pretty much stopped seeing him as well. Nowadays I have to be a politician." "Is it really your position on the council that's the issue?" "It does take up a lot of time." "But back then, when you did have free time, you tended to spend it on training and study. These days, it seems to me that far more of your time and attention goes towards people, one person in particular." I threw up my hands. "Okay, fine. Look, this is the first time I've been in a really long-term relationship, okay? It takes up more of my attention than I'd expected." Arachne tilted her head, studying me. "You think it's a bad thing?" I asked. "No," Arachne said, after a moment's consideration. "While you were more focused on your work back when we first met, you're mentally far healthier now. But that won't do you any good if your enemies decide to have you killed." "I know it sounds weird to say it, but I feel less threatened than I did a year ago," I said. "This war is actually pretty good for me. Levistus and the rest of the council are too busy dealing with Richard, and Richard is too busy dealing with the council." "Your enemies won't stay busy with each other forever," Arachne said. "But on to other matters.